me. And the good news doesn't stop there. I walked out of the store the same day with my new arch supports that are clinically proven to improve my balance and stability. 5 convenient Valley locations in Scottsdale, Glendale, Ahwatukee, Gilbert, and Goodyear. Head to goodfeet.com to find the Good Feet store nearest you. Schedule an appointment for a personalized arch support fitting or drop by anytime. It's the Good Feet store, goodfeet.com.
KTAR News Flash.
It's 4:45. I'm Becky Lynn. Here's what you need to know right now. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio today continued to double down on President Trump's proposed plan introduced Tuesday of a potential U.S. takeover of Gaza, and suggesting Palestinians will have no choice but to move.
People who call that home will not be able to live there while you have crews coming in and removing debris, while you have munitions being removed, etc. That's the offer that he's made.
Experts and rights advocates have condemned this move, including regional allies Jordan and Egypt. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. Let's get a check on traffic with John Roller. He is live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you very much, Becky Lynn. We've cleared away some of the earlier accidents, but we still have some slowing. Let's start at the southbound 51, where we've got some slowing right near Camelback Highland. That's going to stay with you right on through the mini stack there. And, of course, we have our normal afternoon slowing on the westbound 202 through the mini stack through the downtown area. Your slowing is all the way out to 75th Avenue. Have crashes at Broadway and Dobson and Mesa. Working another crash 42nd Avenue and Northern. Thomas east of 7th Street. You've got a collision there and a crash in the clearing stages, Cooper Road and Germain. Traffic is brought to you by Arizona State University. Experience the university, repeatedly ranked #1 in the nation through hands-on exhibits with something for everyone at ASU Open Door on the West Valley campus this Saturday, 1 to 5. Visit opendoor.asu.edu. John Roller, KTAR News.
Hey, it's Mike Broomhead. Trevec, they don't only remodel, they also do great work in roofing. Trustworthy, reliable people that do excellent work, whether it's residential or commercial. If you've got a tile roof, that tile is not waterproof. You've got an underlayment. In about 17 years, that starts to wear away. Then you get leaks, and then you find out with brown patches on your ceilings. Don't let that happen. Be proactive. You can plan for replacing instead of having to call to get leaks repaired. It's a great way to save you a lot of money. Also, foam roofs. It's the only roof system that will eventually pay for itself over time through energy savings. If you've got shingles, they also will help you in roof replacement to make sure you're doing preventative maintenance. It's the best in the valley. Trevec has been doing a great job for years. Just go to Trevec.com. That's Trevek.com. Trevec.com. Trevec, together, building dreams for over 20 years right here in the valley.
Buy 5 quarts of Castrol Edge Full Synthetic Motor Oil and get a $15 gift card after rebate, plus 2 times points at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
The Phoenix City Council's Public Safety Subcommittee meets today. So what are they going to do about the city's police officer shortage and the fire department's long response times? Join LaDonna Harvey and me, Jim Sharp, on the next Arizona's Morning News.
Hey, just a quick heads up. War Room, 15 minutes away. Let's call it that.
Here we go.
Yeah, putting together the best and the brightest, right? Get everybody in the room together, discuss a little bit what's going on in the world of politics. Again, we do it Wednesdays at 5, so we don't have to do it the rest of the time. Gaydos. We do need to take this up because I don't know if Arizona is unique in this sense, but I just hear about it here more than anywhere else. And that is weaselly Arizona politicians who think the law doesn't apply to them. Just because they managed to win a totally rigged election they can do whatever they want. And things like the speed limit, that's for the peons. That's for the little people, Gaydos.
So
at least when I'm speeding and get pulled over, write the ticket. I was doing it.
I think you're talking about legislative immunity. And I think you're talking about...
who's the latest moron?
Arizona State Senator Mark Fincham, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that the fake cowboy guy? He pretends to be a cowboy and wears a hat.
He ran for Secretary of State and lost.
Oh, that was rigged.
He didn't think he lost.
Oh.
It was too Fontes.
But that was rigged when he lost that one. But now he's got elected again?
He's an Arizona State Senator.
Okay, was that one rigged? Okay, forget it. Apparently not.
I don't know. I would guess it was not.
So he
was speeding.
Is trying to get out of a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have to explain what this legislative immunity is.
Yes.
Okay. Basically, what it is if you're a state legislature, you're a politician, you're in the state of Arizona, if you go past the speed limit, and I think he was going 48 and a 30.
Up in Prescott.
He can claim legislative immunity because I guess back in the day when this thing was created.
There's a whole story behind it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, no, but it goes
I want to hear it.
It goes back to like horse and buggy.
No, it does. It does.
So...
And it's important. It's important to tell everybody.
Well, and I think there's an argument. It might have been necessary 150 years ago.
Yeah.
Because the idea was that if you could prevent a lawmaker in Yuma, Prescott, Wilcox, Arizona, from going to the state capitol to vote on something, you could in some way, shape, or form influence how that vote would turn out if they couldn't get there.
And I guess that was happening back in the day.
Well,
They
like,
would literally
like
stop
the local
somebody.
sheriff would just arrest a guy for 2 days.
So weird.
You know what I'm saying? For spitting on the sidewalk so they would miss a vote. So
Right.
they came up with this legislative immunity. And the problem with legislative immunity is...
It's an archaic law. That's the problem.
Well, it's the wording. Can I read you the word?
Please.
This is in the Arizona State Constitution. Legislators, quote, shall be privileged from arrest in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, and shall not be subject to any civil process during the session of the legislature, nor 15 days next before the commencement of each session. They are immune from anything short of treason, a felony, and breach of the peace. You can't, as long as it's in session. And so the argument was, well, if you're speeding, were you going to make a vote? Oh, okay, you were heading to... No, there's no vote. I'm just speeding to speed.
Fincham was in Prescott. So he's not...
He wasn't, yeah.
Arizona.
Oh, yeah, I got to get down to the state capitol for this important vote. No, he was speeding to go to the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Here's the thing. What did he do wrong?
Other than speeding part.
Right. What did he do wrong? He has the right to say, I want legislative immunity because it is on the books.
And it's so broad.
Right. So, listen, I don't like that. Does he, all right, so we go back. Does he think he's above the law? Well, that is the law. He can get out of that ticket. That's what this whole thing is about, that he's actually allowed to.
For God's sakes. Do you remember Paul Mosley?
Oh, of course I do.
This was the guy.
Wait, before you go to Paul Mosley.
Sorry.
As much as we don't like it.
I think they're crooks.
I understand that. As much as we don't like it.
Yeah.
They have the right to claim it. If it's
in the
law,
broadest interpretation of it.
That's what it is.
If they believe
I don't like
that
it either.
a law enforcement personnel is trying to prevent them from getting to a vote, then let's have that conversation.
Oh, I think the law should be, it's archaic.
Be done with it in general. Yeah.
But I don't
By the way, Doug Ducey tried to get rid of it. Guess who wouldn't let that happen? The idiots who want to speed. Like Paul Mosley, who was doing 97 going home in Lake Havasu and bragged to the cop, I was doing about $140 earlier.
You should have seen me 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. I'm only doing 97 now.
That was probably the most famous case.
Yeah. The law for thee, not for me. Check of the headlines is on the way, and the War Room is coming up next. Are you ready to plan your first vacation to Trump Plaza, Gaza? Well, that's got a bit of a ring to it, doesn't it? Are we ready to take over the Gaza Strip and or Greenland? We'll have a talk about it. It's coming up next. We're Outspoken on KTAR.
You know, my friends at Aria Dental Implant Center, they have amazing, amazing news. If you have missing teeth or painful teeth or broken teeth, they're going to take care of you, okay? And a couple of things. They're going to save you time and money. Let's go with time first. In the past, it's taken 4 to 6 months for your final set of teeth. But now at Aria and Dr. Joe, they can get you that final set in days. Not months, days. That's where they save you time. Now, let's talk about how they save you money. Dr. Joe and Aria, they have lowered their fees even more to help you. They want you to regain your quality of life. Aria is a local company, so it's only a fraction of the cost compared to those corporate dental implant centers. You're going to get the best surgeon with Dr. Joe at Aria, and you're getting the best price. And you'll be able to chew the foods that you love once again. Free consultation when you mention Gaydos. Go to ariadentalimplantcenter.com.
Do you know the risks of not having a comprehensive estate plan? Life is unpredictable. An accident, serious illness, or dementia could leave you incapacitated. Without the protection of financial and medical power of attorney documents, an Arizona probate court could appoint someone, possibly a stranger, to manage your finances and medical care. Even if you have a will when you pass away, without a living trust, your estate could get tied up in probate court, and legal fees could take a big chunk out of your children's inheritance. But RJP Estate Planning can help you avoid these risks with a comprehensive estate plan that includes a living trust and power of attorney documents. And if you're 60 or over, you'll save 65% on a living trust and receive financial and medical power of attorney documents at no extra cost.
Call 480-896-9597 by February 6th. That's 480-896-9597. 480-896-9597.
Hit by a drunk driver who chose to get behind the wheel. Hit by a reckless driver who didn't care about the safety of others. It starts an endless road of pain, uncertainty, and financial hardship. If you've been hit, it's time to hit back.
Call Berg Simpson for free now at 602-777-7000. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives. It's not just a slogan, it's who we are.
You know, you can lose weight easier and faster with Red Mountain Weight Loss. Discover the power of semaglutide and tirzepatide, the breakthrough GLP-1 medications that are transforming lives. You lose up to 15 pounds a month without feeling hungry or deprived. And for a limited time, $100 off any GLP-1 program and get the lowest prices of the year. Don't wait to lose 15 pounds this time next month, only at RedMountainWeightLoss.com. That's RedMountainWeightLoss.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix.
My friends at Window World of Phoenix provide the best value in quality replacement windows, patio doors, and entry doors. You always get their lowest pricing up front without any salesy gimmicks, like 6 large premium vinyl siding windows, all with Solar Zone Sunshield glass, tax included, and installed for one low upfront price of only $4,725. So, while other contractors jack up their prices every few months, at Window World you get an affordable upfront price that's often less than half the cost of the other guys. Folks, this is what's called a no-brainer in home remodeling. Plus, they back it up with a true lifetime warranty. See for yourself why over half of all new Window World customers come from happy referrals. Schedule today at windowworldphoenix.com. That's windowworldphoenix.com. Window World, simply the best for less.
KTAR News now.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Becky Lynn. A protest against the Trump administration started at noon today at the state capitol. KTAR's Balin Overstoles was there, and now he's live in the news center to tell us more.
Yeah, Becky, Arizonans opposed to President Trump's immigration policies and other actions gathered at the state capitol today. Their message is to both voters and lawmakers organize against the Trump administration. Among those making their voice heard today is Erica Connell.
It took Hitler 53 days to destroy democracy in Germany. We are on day 17 of Trump and his white supremacist rule.
Turnout was high as the protest began, with enough people there to wrap around the Capitol. Live in the news center, Balin Overstoles, KTAR News.
Recruitment and retention efforts at the Phoenix Police Department improved slightly last year. Commander William Joe says the largest number of officers left between 2019 and 2022, but it leveled out the last 2 years.
So as of January 1, 2025, the department was staffed at 2,506 officers. With a hiring target of 3,125.
He adds Phoenix PD received a little more than 3,000 applications in 2024, compared with 2,500 applications the year before. The city of Mesa is launching a $1 million grant program to help reduce opioid use.
The program will award eligible organizations a minimum of $50,000 for treatment, recovery, prevention programs, or opioid use awareness. The grants come from Opioid Settlement Fund, the One Arizona Agreement. Applications are open February 18th through March 11th. Mesa is also giving $1 million to outreach programs and another $1 million to public safety teams that deal with opioids. To learn more about eligibility or to apply, go to mesaaz.gov/government. Shira Tanser, KTAR News.
KTAR Eyes on the Economy. Arizona is one of the top states in the country for attracting new residents, gaining 57,000 new residents in 2023 alone. Arizona ranks 6th on Storage Cafe's list of states with the most relocations. Doug Ressler with Yardi Matrix explains what makes Arizona such an attractive destination.
Jobs are one of the primary motivator, as well as climate. It has a very growing and burgeoning tech industry. You also are located on a major corridor with the I-10 for distribution to both the East Coast and the West Coast.
About 52,000 new residents came from California, and Gen Zers made up the bulk of people moving here at 26%. Those weren't crunchy snacks in the contraband caught by customs officers at Los Angeles International Airport that were being smuggled in.
What looked like Japanese snacks a passenger had going through customs at LAX were a bit too alive. It turned out they were live beetles disguised as snacks. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says sold online and underground in the U.S., the illegal trade of the beetles can bring in hefty profits. They're illegal to bring into the U.S. because they can be invasive and eat plants and lay eggs in tree bark, killing forests. The beetles will likely be donated to a zoo. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Checking on traffic now. Let's go to John Roller, who is live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right. Thank you very much, Becky Lynn. We had a beautiful day out at the TPC in Scottsdale. Lots of celebrities, lots of fans, and now they're starting to file out of the golf course up in North Scottsdale. I am seeing some slowing on northbound Scottsdale Road, catching up with the 101 Pima Freeway, and that'll stay with you all the way over to the North Stack. Then again, you'll reload about 27th Avenue and slowing out to about 75th Avenue over in Peoria. Also working a little slowing now, starting to build on the southbound 51, starting right at Camelback. That'll stay with you right on through the mini stack, and also some slowing now on the northbound I-17 from the split all the way up to the stack to the westbound I-10. Also working a crash on a school in Chandler Boulevard. Broadway and Dobson have a crash in Mesa, as well as a crash 42nd Avenue in Northern. Thomas east of 7th Street. Look for a collision there as well. Traffic is brought to you by AZ Trim Light. Fall in love with your home this month with AZ Trim Light. Get permanent outdoor lighting to celebrate any occasion. Go to aztrimlight.com for your free quote. John Roller, KTAR News.
Overnight low around 53. And then Thursday should be another beautiful day just like this one with a high around 80. Friday should bring us mostly sunny skies with a high of 78. In Peoria, right now it's 80 degrees. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. With a replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Becky Lynn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos presents The War Room, a political symposium cutting through the noise from the Arizona State Capitol to Washington, D.C. The War Room starts now.
All right, here we go. It's a Wednesday. We are inside the War Room for the next hour. As Bruce is adding,
I think it makes
to
it
the
sound
musical
even
accompaniment.
better.
I don't think so.
No, not so much.
Hey, you've got Bruce, you've got Gaydos on the panel, Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst. Good to see you, Barry.
Good to see you, boys.
And we got Brandon Tatum, former police officer, Turning Point USA contributor, big Trump supporter. Brandon, good to see you.
Howdy.
All right, let's go right into.
Ooh.
Listen,
What do you want to start with?
I know Trump says a lot of things, okay?
Yeah.
And I always wait to see if he actually is going to do it. I don't get outraged first. I think I used to do that earlier. I've tried to figure out how to handle kind of the chaos.
Trying to limit the outrage. You only want to get outraged once a day.
But, you try and guess what he's going to say next. And
Good luck.
No one can do it. So we get this doozy yesterday. We got that Trump would like to take over Gaza and build, possibly take
like a resort.
1.8 million people who, I don't even think they currently live there. It's in shambles.
Agreed.
Relocate them. So I want to go into this. The Israeli and Palestinian war and the conflict, it's been going on. Goodness gracious, we all know how long. So, takeover of the Gaza Strip. Is it a brilliant move by Donald Trump, something that's different, or outside the box, or is it a fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on in the region?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I came on here before the election. And I predicted it correctly that Trump would win. And win. I just had to throw that out there.
He's got to get the lap in here.
But what I will say is that I'm open to both possibilities. I lean more towards saying I don't want us to have nothing to do with the Gaza Strip because we don't need any American soldiers over there. The rules of engagement could cause us to enter into another conflict. I don't think that that's good prime real estate. But I'm open. If Donald Trump can propose something that makes sense and he can actually activate it without involving us in any kind of war, I'm open to it. But outside of that, I just don't think it's a good idea. Let them do what they got to do in the region. They're going to fight.
I was going to say, they've been fighting for 2,000 plus years.
They're going to keep fighting to the end of time.
I can pretty much guarantee what's going to look like next year.
These folks have only been fighting. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh. No, but I don't want our troops to be involved.
No,
because if we get involved, if we there, and then one of Hamas strikes us and kill a soldier or kill an American citizen there, we're going to have to retaliate, and we don't need that.
Look, I'm a big supporter of Israel, and from that perspective, I'd love to have the United States there and making Gaza safe for Israel and doing all those things. This is never going to happen. It can't happen, and it's exactly what Brandon just said. We're not going to put troops down there. We don't want to have our troops there. It's so dangerous because Hamas they're not going away.
Right.
And these folks, Hamas and the Palestinians that are there, they don't want to leave. They're hugging onto that area with grim death. This whole thing about relocating people. Think about this for a second. In every other war, people they lose where they live. Think about World War II for a minute. I have family members who had a house and they're kicked out. When Israel became a state in 1947 or 48, everybody, they talked about how Israel, some people, they kicked people out. They didn't kick anybody out, actually. But all the Muslim nations around the Middle East kicked all the Jews out. So everybody that was living there lost their home. I have yet to hear a Jew say, I want my house back in Egypt, or I want my house back here. No, why do these folks say I have to have my home right here? And as Gaydos said, there's nothing there. It's all obliterated now.
It's leveled.
It's a parking lot, right?
So what should happen, this won't happen either, but what should happen is these folks should be relocated to other countries who take them in and let them start a real life.
They don't want to, the other countries don't want them, though.
Barry. Yeah, for good reason, because it's a terrorist threat. You think that what happened in Gaza and what Israelis have done to them, you think somehow they're going to have an awakening? No, they're going to hate Jews and hate Israel even more.
Even more. Oh,
and if
absolutely.
America gets engaged, they're going to target that hate towards America even more. I think it's a lose-lose for Gazans. They shouldn't have never got Hamas in charge, and they shouldn't have never attacked Israel, and that's why they're reaping what they've sown. But I really wish the best for them.
But the flip side is indirectly and maybe legitimately created another 1 or 2 generations of Gazans that are going to want to kill Israelis.
Yeah, I don't know that it was going to change anything. Anyway,
it might not have changed anything. Don't get me wrong.
What they should be mad at Hamas. That's who brought this on. Israel wasn't attacking the Gaza Strip before this. Israel had the Gaza Strip
pretty much contained.
Not contained. I'm saying even before that, there were Israelis living in Gaza. They had built it up. It was beautiful. They had all these businesses there. And 25 years ago, Israel said, we're going to give this to the Palestinians. And they made their own people leave their homes and businesses and pulled them into the rest of Israel. They forced them out. They went with military and took their own people and said, you're leaving your house. And they didn't burn anything down. They didn't light the place on fire. They said, here, this is yours. And from there, and by the way, Hamas gets billions of dollars a year. And instead of putting it into building this up and education, and they don't do any of that. They do it for tunnels and artillery and bombs. That's the problem.
They don't help the people.
And they have to get Hamas
very
out of
fair.
there.
But the sad thing is the people, in some cases, and especially the idiots that protest over here, they do not recognize that. Every single protest that I've ever engaged with, when you ask them who's the biggest threat to Palestinians, Hamas or Israelis, and they say Israelis 100% of the time. Yeah. If you dig deep enough, they say that Hamas is a fighting force in a positive direction for Palestinians, and I disagree because look at what has resulted from Hamas's actions against Israel.
I would add to that, and not necessarily fundamentally disagree with it. I don't know what the original sin is, but they've been fighting for so long. No one can tell you who threw the first punch anymore. But they're fighting about things that happened to their great-grandparents or whatever, some perceived slight from God knows when, and whatever happened yesterday just adds on to it. But
go down that road for a second. We're inside the war room.
Yeah.
Go down that road. Don't we have to do something this time that's totally different and drastic? Why are we going to go right back to let's have a two-state solution?
I don't think they want it.
We've tried that for how long, and they don't want to ever do it.
The problem is if you consider all of that land, Gaza and the West Bank and Israel, if you consider that all to be Israel, what people say is they're making those folks live there. They don't have voting rights. There's things they can't do, but at the same time, they don't really want. Or some people do want their own state there, but they really don't. And the other part is, how can Israel have an independent state there unless it's completely military free? They can't. Israel can't set up. Hey, I'm going to. It'd be like the United States saying, "Who's our biggest enemy right now?"
China.
It'd be like the United States
Canada
saying, or Iran. Here's Iran. We're going to give Iran Kansas.
Tim Hortons crap.
And say, Iran, you're going to have Kansas. Go ahead and take Kansas. That'll be your new Iranian state here. And we're just going to put you in the middle of our country. Knock yourself out. I mean, we can't do that.
Well, look what happened in Gaza. I think exactly. If you leave them to their own devices, this is what gets concocted, and then now they're attacking Israel, and they have to use the Iron Dome, and a bunch of Israelis are going to die. It's unfortunate that this holy war has been fought, and it's never going to stop. I just hope everybody else. That's why I don't want America to get involved.
I don't want us in the middle of it. I'm right there with it.
It's never going to stop. We're just going to be agitating. And we have rules of engagement that allow us to lose every single time if we engage in that. They don't have rules of engagement. They hide behind their children. I'm speaking of the Palestinians.
Well, it's like ISIS
Hamas.
or whatever. Yeah, you can't fight a war against people that don't play by any rules.
Unless you just completely obliterate everybody, and we all know we don't want to see that happen.
Is this the first time that MAGA is upset with Donald Trump during his second term? Because most MAGA folks don't like this.
How does this make America great, you mean?
They don't.
How does this lower the price of eggs?
I think Trump is just running his mouth. You know, I don't know if he has a vision. See, Trump is smarter and have more insight than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Yeah. Maybe he sees something, he's looking forward to the future that most of us don't see. So I don't think that MAGA is upset with him because Trump says a lot of things. Sometimes he's bluffing, sometimes he's serious. But a lot of things that he say actually come to fruition. I mean, many things that he said about the border, many things he said about the election, and all of those things, we have seen them actually come to fruition. So when he's making that bold claim like he did with tariffs, I'm not completely turning down. Could this be a possibility that works well if there's an actual good agreement there? So I'm not completely opposed to Trump saying this because he may know something we don't know.
I appreciate you said there's zero chance this happens. But everything you just said about Trump, and you said earlier, reminding us that before the election, what you said. Can I ask you something? Because before the election, we were in here, and you said, and I was happy you did that if Trump, because Trump said he was going to pardon the January 6 people, even those who assaulted police officers, and you said you didn't think he was going to do that, and you'd be upset if he did it.
No. I said I didn't. I wouldn't like the idea of people who bludgeon police officers, but for others who spend time in prison, they've done their time. It's time for them to have an opportunity to be free.
Do you think it's okay that Trump pardoned the people who assaulted the police officers?
Well, I think in retrospect, they were treated unfairly. I don't know. They've spent 4 years in prison. I think that's a lot of time in prison for nobody to get seriously injured or killed.
Is that the same if I were to beat a Phoenix police officer? 4 years is what I should expect as the total number?
It just depends on the circumstances. I don't think everybody got that same treatment. And I don't think everybody was pardoned either. I think that most of them were.
Almost all of them were pardoned.
Yeah, but there were some that weren't.
Well, the only ones that weren't pardoned, their sentences were commuted, so they were let out. But so you're saying there's sometimes it's okay for people to and by the way, nobody served 4 years. That happened 4 years ago.
Well, many of them did.
No.
Many of them went to jail like right after that.
Well, all right, but so you're saying if it's 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, if you bludgeon or assault and injure a police officer and are sentenced by a jury to a certain amount of time, you're okay with what Trump did?
No. I'm saying that when you look at the totality of circumstances, how many people do you see in prison right now for bludgeoning police officers in the summer of love in 2020 when they were burning down buildings and killing people? How many people are still in prison now? So with that same level of justice, you don't have people spending that much time in prison.
I didn't hear any of them get pardoned, though.
I'm not aware.
Well, none of them are in jail.
I'm not aware.
They should have been in jail. I don't see.
They absolutely went to jail.
I don't know how many people have served time in jail for the things that they've done in these protests and these riots that have gotten out of control. I don't hear of any story of people still in prison from 2020 that have engaged in any of those things.
Some of them absolutely are, but you're conflating two things. We're talking about assaulting police officers. People who assaulted police officers in 2020 for the Summer of Love, as you're calling it, if they were convicted, they were put in jail, they were sentenced to prison sentences, and they're still there. That's still happening.
I don't know if that's accurate.
I'm a little surprised that you're somehow excusing someone who assaulted a police officer and saying now that it's okay that Trump pardoned them.
I'm not excusing it. I understand why Trump did it. I understand that many of them were treated unjustly. I understand that some of it was coerced, possibly by our FBI department. So
it's on video. You can see them assaulting the police officer.
But that's a few of them. But what about all the people? What about all the people that didn't assault anybody?
That's not what we're talking about.
No. But what about the people? Are you okay with the people that didn't assault anybody being commuted or being pardoned?
I think people who commit a crime should be are sentenced by a jury should serve their
sentence. But the time is not not consistent.
What other crimes are you okay with people not serving their whole sentence? Let's go through the list. What are the crimes that I can commit, and then after I'm sentenced by a jury, I should be let out early? Which crimes are those?
It really depends.
Is it just the people who agree with you politically, or everybody?
No, but do you have the same emotional feeling about what Joe Biden did?
Yeah, I don't like what Biden did with those pardons.
Okay.
I can say that. Why can't you say that?
Because I'm looking at it, and I said this on the show last time, I don't really like the fact that people who have bludgeoned police officers are not serving a full time. But I understand why Trump did the totality of a pardon, because many of them were treated unjustly.
They said, Trump's own people, the vice president said, we're going to go through these one at a time, and we're going to do person by person. That would have been fine if that's what he did. Yeah. And instead he just said, I can't say the word he did because it was an expletive, and he said blanket and did it all.
I don't think all of them were.
All right.
No, they all were.
We're going to leave it at that. All right. Coming up next, second segment of the War Room, we've got Barry Markson, Brandon Tatum. We've got Bruce. We've got Gaydos. Did Mexico and Canada outsmart Trump in the trade war? Or is it the other way around? It's the War Room. Stick around.
Hey, I want to talk to you about your mortgage. First off, question for you. You got good credit? You've been good with money? All right, then why do you finance your home with a traditional 30-year fixed mortgage the same way people with poor credit do? The same way people who maybe aren't good with their money. I mean, think about it. There's a reason that they stretch payments out for 30 years. There's a reason you pay all the interest up front to the bank and don't have access to your equity. It's because it's for people they think are going to have a problem. Your mortgage should match your credit and how you have handled your finances. And at a Life Changer Loan, you're in control. You can check them out at lifechangerloan.com. A Life Changer Loan lets you pay down, pay off, even borrow back, and you can do it all on your timeline. I mean, it's up to you. You've earned it with your good behavior by now, right? You've got good credit. You're good with money. You should not be in a traditional mortgage. Go to lifechangerloan.com. Lifechangerloan.com. It's not magic. It's just math.
KTAR News Flash.
It's 5:19. I'm Becky Lynn, and here's what you need to know right now. Today, Arizona is opposed to President Trump's immigration policies and other actions gathered at the state capitol. Their message to both voters and lawmakers: organize against the Trump administration. Among the hundreds of protesters was a Mexican mother who says she's fearful for her daughters.
Just because they look Mexican, this is their country.
Protesters also expressed concern about billionaire Elon Musk's involvement in the federal government. All of our top stories are just 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. Let's get you home this afternoon. See how the roads look with John Roller in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much, Becky Lynn. Heads up if you're heading southbound on the Price Freeway through Tempe. Looks like we have a crash right in the transition ramp to the eastbound US 60. Also seen a little bit of slowing on the northbound 101 from Baseline transitioning to the eastbound US 60. Have our normal slowing coming in southbound on the I-17. You've got slowing from Dunlap down to Indian School Road. Also the northbound I-17 starting to pick up now from the eastbound I-10 to the northbound I-17. Your slowing gets a little lighter at Indian School Road. Then once you get up to Dunlap, you are good to go. Alma School Road and Chandler Boulevard, you've got a crash there, as well as a crash in Mesa Broadway and Dobson, and a crash in the clearing stages, 42nd Avenue and Northern. Traffic is brought to you by Day and Night Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you have the oldest AC in town, you could win a brand new high-efficiency AC with an air purifier from Day and Night. Visit Day and Night Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.com. Press enter for your chance to win. John Roller, KTAR News.
Now, back to the War Room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
And in studio with us, Brandon Tatum, a former police officer and Turning Point USA contributor, Barry Markson, our KTAR legal analyst, Gaydos, and myself. So over the weekend, I guess, as we headed into last weekend, the concern was tariffs on the evil empires that are Mexico and Canada, and what that would mean. And the question is, after the tariffs were, would I use the term, paused for 30 days? Might be I think is what the term was. Did Canada and Mexico win, or did the United States win? Who won in this threatened tariff war?
I think the United States won clearly, and this is another example of how Trump is more strategic. It is insane to me that other presidents that were in office couldn't do something like this, and they shamed Donald Trump, saying that he's threatening these tariffs and they're going to ruin American economy. And what did he do? He leveraged tariffs to get them to do what he asked them to do. So he paused them, and what did they do? They responded.
So what did he get?
Trudeau came out. Trudeau came out and had this grandiose speech about how they're going to tariff America and all this. And what did he do? He backed down from it. Getting troops and getting support to stop fentanyl and drugs from coming into this country, and also illegal aliens, is a win for America.
So you'd say a president who got what Trump got from Mexico and Canada right now did a good job and is trying to secure the border.
Well, America won,
but
not just Trump.
No. I'm saying if any president who did that would be working to secure the border, and you would approve of that work.
I would agree if you can leverage, because they obviously didn't do it before.
Does it have to be because of tariffs? Can it just be if a president gets those things that Trump got?
The tariffs worked. Why did Trump have to? Why did Trump have to? They didn't do anything. Why did Trump have to? What do you mean?
They didn't do anything.
Let me respond. How is that possible?
Let me respond.
He imposed tariffs.
Yeah.
He paused the tariffs, and they did what they're supposed to do.
Wrong. That's where you're wrong. You got the first part right.
Hang on one second. Mexico agreed to deploy 10,000 soldiers to the U.S.-Mexico border.
Hang on.
Wait. Let me get the other side.
Yeah. Mexico currently has about 20,000 on the border, so they can bring 10 home.
Hold on. 10,000 more.
Yeah.
Canada agreed to reinforce the border with new choppers, technology, personnel. They've got a fentanyl czar.
Which they agreed to do in December.
They agreed to do all of that.
Yeah.
Canada did in December.
Under
President Biden. All of it. There's
literally down to the word.
Hang on. Let's talk about
they
facts
didn't
for a
do
second.
it.
Brandon, let's talk about facts for a second. There's not one thing that either of those countries are doing today that they weren't doing 2 months ago, 3 months ago, or whenever it started. Not one thing. So what Trump did, and you're like right here falling for it. Trump created a crisis. I'm going to fix the crisis, and then says, "Look, I won," and he got nothing. He got nothing.
Trump,
he saw the stock market wake up and start to go down.
The derangement syndrome is real.
Brandon,
why
you're right.
would they? Trudeau wrote a statement, saying that he will acquiesce to the requests of Donald Trump, and that's the only thing that stopped Donald Trump from imposing tariffs.
They know how to play Donald Trump.
Is it this easy?
They play Donald Trump.
I can play Donald Trump easy.
Every foreign
easy. He's a mark. He's easy to play.
Yeah,
tell him how pretty he is, how rich he is.
So
and
why did he pause? Why did he pause the tariffs?
Because he saw the stock market was going down. He didn't want to get blamed for it.
So simultaneously, I mean, if you hate Trump, it's okay. Just say you hate Trump. But Trump had a strategy that worked.
No.
And he said we're going to impose 25%
Nothing
tariffs.
different.
And they knew they could not handle that
Nothing
economically. They get on TV and talk,
Brandon.
but economically, we will put their country in a bankruptcy if
Nothing
we
different.
impose tariffs.
You're not going to put them in bankruptcy, but you're right. They didn't want the tariffs. But the point is,
Why not?
They did. Well, nobody wants tariffs like that, Brandon. But they didn't give Trump anything. But unfortunately, Trump's supporters fall for this every time. Trump,
but they don't
nothing.
care,
Brandon. It's a fact. It's a fact.
They
Brandon,
don't care.
It's a
Trump,
fact.
Trump imposed tariffs. They take action. He paused the tariffs, and we say that tariffs had nothing to do with that.
They took the press release they had, they changed the date on it, and they put it back out. And Trump goes, "I won."
After he threatened the tariffs, and they decide to change their tune, we saying that Trump did not win. The Panama Canal, Trump did not get them to end deals with China and make deals with America.
I think it's
Trump is winning. I don't know why it's so hard.
Trump has done several things that I approve of, but you have to acknowledge when he does something like this that isn't real, you have to be able to open your eyes and say, this didn't do anything new. It's just a show. And when he's doing just the show, it's not helping the United States. It put the markets into chaos.
Well, how did it hurt? How did it hurt the United States?
Are you kidding me? The market was down 700 points when it opened.
It's an ebb and flow. So it's going to be down. It's going to be down because people's fears.
You got to let me finish the sentence.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Businesses don't like chaos. This is not going to go well in the long term if this is what he keeps doing. But the biggest thing that is bothering me is that you're actually believing that Trump accomplished something.
I'm actually believing my eyes.
Let's do this. Let's do this, Brandon. Let's come back in 6 months. Let's come back in 6 months and let's see if the amount of fentanyl is less coming into the United States because of all this great stuff Trump just did.
I can tell you.
All right, so
there's not going to be one change.
That's insane.
Nothing will change.
That's insane. So you're saying 10,000 troops? 10,000 troops on the southern
They're
border
already there.
deployed by? No, they deployed additional 10,000 troops.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not what they did.
So China,
Mexico told him what he wanted to hear. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Canada issued the same.
Told him what he wanted to hear, and he fell for it.
Okay.
It's the same. Canada issued the same press release.
And Mexico couldn't care less about drugs coming in this country. They care about guns going into
And this
theirs.
is why he won.
Yeah.
I'm with Brandon on this one. I think Mexico put 10,000 more troops on the border.
To do what?
I think that to secure the border. I think he likes to squeeze these countries to try and get what he wants. And by the way, Barry, the stock market was only down under 100 points. It settled. It started at 6 or 7.
because he
I
pulled
get
the
it.
tariffs.
I understand that, but it wasn't down 600 or 700. Let's just be clear. All right, coming up next, we have 48% of people arrested by ICE that did not have a criminal record. Okay, what happened to, hey, we're going over and trying to go after only the major criminals first?
You're shocked they lied?
Coming up next.
The KTAR News app is your connection to Arizona's news station for breaking news as it happens, live traffic updates, podcasts, and live streaming KTAR shows. The KTAR News app is presented by Rias Plumbing and Air Conditioning.
All right, Howard Air President's Day sales event. It's happening all month long. I want you to save up to $4,200 on select new systems from Trane, okay? So all you have to do is mention Gaydos, and you say, listen, guys, can you come out and check my AC and heating system? It's old. You know, I haven't had it checked in a while. This thing is like 18 years old, certainly not working the way that I'd like it to work. $4,200 in savings on new select systems from Trane. You get this from Howard Air. Howard Air served the Valley since 1977. And they'll come to your house. These are the best technicians. They're friendly. They're experts. They know what they're doing. And it's a phone call away. 602-953-2766. We're in February. We know that the heat is on its way. Well, it was 86 degrees yesterday. I know, a little bit out of control. But in March and April and May and, certainly over the summer, you're going to need that AC system to work. If it doesn't work properly, replace it today. Call Howard Air at 602-953-2766.
Paid for by government.com. Have you heard? A recent stash of 1902 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1902 silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 300 of these Morgan silver dollars are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-806-1641, and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1902 Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic old mint mark of the New Orleans Mint, but with limited quantity, you must call now. These 1902 silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 122 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-806-1641. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-806-1641 now to secure your 1902 Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-806-1641.
Did you know you can lose weight quickly without shots or drugs, without counting points or calories, and without prepackaged foods? I'm Jamie West, and I found the secret. Phoenix Secret for Weight Loss. It's hard to believe how fast I've lost more than 40 pounds just by eating the right combination of healthy foods at the right times of day. This is not a fad diet. It's a realistic, healthy lifestyle change you can live with. It will reset your metabolism so you keep the weight off. It's time to love the way you look again and fit in all those skinny clothes you have in your closet. It really works. And Dr. Maloney and his staff are like having your own personal cheerleaders. It's changed my life. I sleep better. I have more energy and confidence. Take the weight off fast, the healthy way, without shots or drugs. Call for your free weight loss consultation in person or virtually, 602-832-7440, 602-832-7440, or go to PhoenixSecretForWeightLoss.com.
You know, it's not the most favorite thing I've ever done is paint a home.
It's a new year, Phoenix, and if you're tired of painting your home year after year, do what Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a single story that was built back in 1998. I've had the home painted about every 4 years.
Rhino Shield's better than paint and formulated for our specific climate here in Phoenix and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
Initially, the warranty was probably the most important item I looked at. There's a tremendous value.
So stop painting your home year after year and get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
I cannot say this about the previous 4 companies that I had paint the home, how beautiful the home looks. It has never looked so good, and shame on me for not going to Rhino Shield sooner.
Here's owner Jim Williams.
This offer is limited, so call me at 855-4U-RHINO. That's 855-4, the letter U, Rhino.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Shane Company has partnered with Cupid to bring you the best Valentine's Day gifts, even if you forgot. We won't tell. From harp necklaces with sparkling diamonds to stylish gold hoops, every piece is made with love. Plus, there's still time to pop the question on the most romantic day of the year. Create your own engagement ring or pick a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. We make it easy with gifts for every budget, in stock and ready to give, so it looks like you've been planning this for months. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey guys, it's Mike Broomhead. I set a goal for myself to get back in shape. That's why I'm using M-Drive, the #1 men's health supplement at Sprouts, with ingredients that are clinically tested to support healthy testosterone. You can find M-Drive at Sprouts or go to mdriveformen.com, use the promo code Broomhead, and get 25% off your first order. Make this the year you finally stick to your resolutions. mdriveformen.com for 25% off your first order.
KTAR News now.
It's 5:32. Good afternoon. I'm Becky Lynn. The Phoenix Police Department is about 600 recruits away from being fully staffed, with just over 2,500 currently in the department. KTAR's Heidi Hummel joins us live from the News Center to tell us how things are trending.
Commander William Joe tells the Phoenix City Council Phoenix PD received about 500 more applications in 2024 compared to years past.
With the close of 2024, we saw 204 total officers separate from the department. We saw the largest number of officers leaving the department in 2019 through 2022, but have seen the past 2 years level off.
Joe explains if 2024 trends continue, hiring should overtake attrition by 2026. Reporting live in the News Center, Heidi Hummel, KTAR News.
U.S. Senate Democrats are doing all they can to stand in the way of President Trump's nominee to lead the Office of Management and Budget. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly speaking tonight on the danger he sees in Russell Vogt in that role.
And if he gets this job, there won't be any debate on the Senate floor about these cuts. We won't be able to have a conversation about how to make housing assistance more effective for working families.
We're expecting hours of speeches with Senator Ruben Gallego expected to speak early tomorrow morning, and we'll have the latest during Arizona's morning news. There was another incident involving jet airliners today, and this time it was at the airport in Seattle.
There are no injuries after the wing of an arriving Japan Airlines Boeing 787 from Tokyo sliced into the tail of a Delta Airlines Boeing 737 that was waiting to be de-iced before heading to Mexico. Lita Turner was on board the flight from Tokyo and says a wing cut right into the tail.
I think everybody was just in disbelief of the whole thing just having happened, just with all the recent air issues.
She says they were stuck on board the plane for about 2 hours until stairs were brought in and they were bused to a terminal. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Let's get a look at the road home now. Here's John Roller in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much, Becky Lynn. We have slowing up in the North Valley. North Stack, southbound I-17, transitioning to the westbound Loop 101, the Agua Fria Freeway gets heavy right to 35th Avenue. Then you'll have slowing out to 75th Avenue on your ride home. Also, more folks starting to leave the TPC in Scottsdale. Still seeing some slowing both northbound and southbound of Scottsdale Road, just south of the 101. And we also have some slowing on the Pima Freeway, starting at Scottsdale Road all the way over to the 51. 51st Avenue and Bell Road. We've got a new crash over there, as well as a crash at Alma School Road and Germain. Traffic is brought to you by the Beatitudes Campus. Home is where the heart is at the Beatitudes Campus. Join us for a special Valentine's Day open house February 14th from 10 until noon. John Roller, KTAR News.
We're expecting clear skies overnight, low around 53, and tomorrow, beautiful, sunny and 80, and it's 79 right now in Phoenix. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Becky Lynn on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Now, back to the War Room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
Here we are inside of the War Room. Appreciate you guys spending time with us. By the way, the streaming video. There's video going on this, too. You can check us out at KTAR.com. Just click the live video. You can do it on the app or even go to YouTube. We have a YouTube channel on KTAR. So YouTube is this website, Gaydos, where they show a lot of videos? Okay, I just wanted to make sure
you get in the rabbit hole. I got it.
All right.
All right, let's talk about. We got Brandon.
I was going to say, I was getting ready to introduce our guests.
Our former. You got to get quicker.
Not quick.
Former police officer. Hey. We got Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst. All right, so this is what we've seen in Phoenix over the last couple weeks since Trump took over. We've seen protests and we've seen ICE. Okay, so why don't we start with the protests? Some of the protesters are completely out of control. We had a cop car stolen, DPS drone destroyed, windows in cop cars are broken. These are not peaceful protests. Now, I have seen some, but the ones that I've seen over the, I saw one that was somewhat peaceful, but a lot of this stuff doesn't look good. All right, what happened to the peaceful protests? Why aren't we having peaceful protests?
It's like
Everybody's
it's peaceful up until like
cars.
4:30, and then it goes downhill when the sun goes down.
Yeah, I mean, these people are complete idiots, most of them, I would argue. When I see you flying on a Mexican flag, protesting being deported to Mexico, that's a conundrum. If Mexico is so great, or if you're so valuable, why don't you go back to Mexico and make Mexico great again? I think it's a waste of time to do that. And then they get violent, and then they take police cars, and then they hit police with fireworks. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous and counterproductive. There's nothing that they're going to do that's going to change ICE executing the law of the land. That's the thing that we forget about. Coming to this country illegally is against the law. We have to have laws in this country to have a country, and if you're here illegally, you should be deported, because it spits in the face of all those people who did it the right way. It wasn't cheap. It wasn't easy, but they did it, and they deserve to have a right to be here in America. But for those who snuck in the back door, you got to pay the cost. You got to pay the consequences.
I think the protests are ridiculous also. I don't understand why they're flying Mexican flags. And I'm going to tell you.
I think it's counterproductive when you shut down a street or freeway.
They hate America. That's why they fly
That's what I was about to say. If you want to try to get the public on your side, don't shut down a street.
Don't screw up traffic.
Don't make it I can't get home or can't get to work.
I would agree with that.
You're just messing yourself up. I don't understand that at all. That doesn't bring people over to your side.
Agreed.
All right, what about, let's go to the other side of this argument. ICE. Okay, why was a tank used in Phoenix to arrest a 61-year-old illegal immigrant?
Looks good on TV.
Yeah, it's a show. reality
That's
TV.
what it is. That's why Christine Noem, our new Secretary of Homeland Security, is in a different costume every day. One day she's an ICE agent. The next day she's in a Border Patrol outfit. The next day she's dressed as a cowgirl.
It's reality. It's why he nominated people from TV to be secretaries, because it's a reality show.
I don't think so. I think it's more nuanced than that. I hadn't seen the deployment tactics or anything like that. I don't know why they deployed a tank.
It was one of those armored personnel carriers.
Was it an actual tank or was it an armored vehicle?
A Bearcat? Does that sound right?
Are you saying an armored vehicle, not a tank?
Armored vehicle, but
Well, a tank and an armored vehicle are two different things. A tank it doesn't seem it can be productive whatsoever. It's not like you can shoot out of a tank and do anything. But an armored vehicle is very strategically
Is Bearcat
used.
the right thing those are?
Some of them they call them Bearcat. We call it the Bat when I was in Tucson.
Okay.
And it's very safe, and it allows you to get up on a target. If a target is shooting at you, you can also shield citizens. If there's a bomb threat or anything like that, that thing can withstand.
Well, there was no allegation of any of that.
But I'm assuming that they deployed it like we deployed it on SWAT, is when there is information that we are privy to that the public is not privy to, and we use that as a precautionary measure to call announcements, and nobody gets hurt. No police officers get hurt. No citizens will get hurt if we can deploy the Bat.
All we've learned from this is it was a 61-year-old man with children who are American citizens. He was in the country illegally and had no criminal background.
But I think common sense will tell you that they wouldn't deploy the Bat if it wasn't a serious threat, because that's a significant resource that they'd have to get to that location and deploy. And somebody have to sign off on that. It's not like somebody just randomly said, "Let's just pull that truck up here and let's do it." They have to put equipment on the truck. They have to sign it out.
You think anybody at ICE is going to get in trouble for bringing an armored personnel carrier to go after a 61-year-old? Heck no, they're going to get a promotion.
If it's not legitimate, they'll get in trouble.
Those Doge people might not like it because they're trying to cut everything back. So you can't bring the truck out. It costs more money.
Who's getting deported? Because at the very beginning, I saw criminals, I saw rapists. Obviously, Dr. Phil was on there.
Get the bad guys out.
They were deporting Dr. Phil?
No.
Oh.
But, Barry, you're right. We talked about it being televised, and Trump wants us to see what he's doing. Okay, I saw a lot of bad people at the very beginning getting deported.
Really bad people.
Fine with me. Get out.
Yeah.
There's a statistic from NBC News that 48% of people arrested did not have a criminal record. So I think the question is, weren't we going over and trying to find the worst of the worst? And I guess I would ask, well, why did we go after that 61-year-old in Phoenix? Is he really at the top of people's list?
I don't know what his background is.
He snuck in twice.
Yeah, well,
I get it.
What they're saying is, number one, is if they encounter other illegal people who are in the country illegally while they're arresting a criminal illegal person, they're going to arrest them too. So it's collateral. They're going to get everybody.
The sweep.
Go ahead. But the one other thing I was going to say is, you have to remember, the government was doing deportations before Trump took office. It isn't like we weren't doing deportations for 4 years and then we just started them up.
2024 was the most deportations was 12 years since Obama.
Since Obama.
At the end of the year?
No, before
they let illegals come in this country like it was going out of style.
That doesn't mean they weren't deporting them.
Deported them.
The facts are facts.
Yeah, the numbers are the numbers.
I didn't say they weren't deporting them. I'm saying they weren't deporting them significantly enough that it wasn't an issue.
The most since Obama.
The facts are, and I'm not saying they didn't let a lot of people in illegally, but the facts are that Biden was deporting more people.
And let everybody in for 3.5 years.
So they had more to deport.
Everybody in for 3.5 years.
That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about deportations. So the number of deportations that Biden was doing was more
because he let everybody in.
But
Barry.
it was more. Okay. Well, then I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying.
Well, they had when you let 10 million people in, you got a lot to deport.
Guys, are we talking about the border and security? I'm happy to talk about that. Or do you want to talk about deportation?
No, we're talking about the totality of circumstances related to deportation. You brought up that he deported more. This is why.
No, what I'm saying is this is a TV show. That Trump is we're seeing it on TV and they're announcing it more, so we're acting like there's more deportations. There are less deportations today than there were in December and November and July and May.
Why left this outrage? Why are they saying Trump is Hitler and
because they're talking about it more, and that's what it is.
Well,
because
they called Obama the deporter in chief.
He was the deporter. He was he deported more than anybody else. But nobody cared when he was doing it. But when Trump does it, he's Hitler somehow. And let me say, we just got to clarify this. When somebody says that they're deporting people without a criminal record, they don't know their criminal record status because many of them are illegally in this country. They may have committed crimes in other countries. They may have committed crimes here. They just haven't been convicted. So they don't really know the status of some of these people. But they are going after the biggest and the baddest, and they're catching these other people in the meantime.
Yeah.
And I think it's all legitimized because it is law. They're not doing anything that's unjust, immoral. They're just following the law of the land. And if we want to change the law, Congress needs to change the law.
I agree.
Until then, they need to enforce the laws in the book that we voted to impose.
I agree. I just want to point out they were doing that before, too.
Yeah.
It isn't like Trump just invented deportations.
No.
This was happening for the last 4 years.
But now he's doing it at a prolific level.
No, he's doing it at a lesser level than
I
Biden
will
was
bet.
doing.
I will bet you money that at the end of the day, we can see how much did Obama and Biden deport, and then we're going to look at Trump's deportation. I bet you is way more.
We're going to leave it at that. We got one more segment coming up. Bruce,
I like that bet.
What do you want to do next?
Trump signed an executive order banning transgender athletes in women's sports.
It gets easier. Yeah. The war room's going to get easier.
It's getting better.
We're going to talk about it. It's coming up next. Outspoken on KTAR.
All right, Arizona Painting Company. Hey, I want you to hire my friends over there. They're fantastic. And guess what they're doing right now? They're accepting nominations for their 2025 Paint It Forward program. Each year, the Arizona Painting Company gives back to the community. What they do is they select someone who deserves a new exterior or interior painting project. And so here's the thing. You have to nominate. This is up to you. You nominate that person that you know who desperately needs to have their house painted for one reason or another. Maybe a woman down the street is a widow now. Maybe, there was an injury, a terrible car accident. And that person that you know what, that house, they really needed to get painted. Here's the deal. Text the word paint to 620-620. We'll send you the link to nominate. Make a difference. It's Paint It Forward, the Arizona Painting Company.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Do you know the risks of not having a comprehensive estate plan? Life is unpredictable. An accident, serious illness, or dementia could leave you incapacitated. Without the protection of financial and medical power of attorney documents, an Arizona probate court could appoint someone, possibly a stranger, to manage your finances and medical care. Even if you have a will when you pass away, without a living trust, your estate could get tied up in probate court, and legal fees could take a big chunk out of your children's inheritance. But RJP Estate Planning can help you avoid these risks with a comprehensive estate plan that includes a living trust and power of attorney documents. And if you're 60 or over, you'll save 65% on a living trust and receive financial and medical power of attorney documents at no extra cost.
Call 480-896-9597 by February 6th. That's 480-896-9597. 480-896-9597. KTAR News Flash.
It is 5:47. I'm Becky Lynn, and here's what you need to know right now. There's a different strain of bird flu, primarily spreading in wild birds, that's now been detected in dairy cattle in Nevada. Here's ABC's Chuck Sievertson.
This is the first detection of this strain of bird flu, D1.1, in cattle, says the Federal Agriculture Department, which found it as a result of its national milk testing program launched in early December. More severe cases of bird flu in humans were also infected with this strain, including a patient in Louisiana that was the first and only human death reported from the virus in the U.S. in January.
All of our top stories are only 15 minutes away. For more news, go to KTAR.com or the KTAR News app. All right, let's check on the road as you're heading home tonight. John Roller's live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much, Becky Lynn. Not looking too bad as we move closer to the 6 o'clock hour. We have our normal slowing in the downtown area heading westbound on the I-10. You've got slowing now all the way out to Avondale Boulevard. Nothing really too heavy, though. Pretty normal this time of day. Also, a little bit of slowing on the northbound 202 South Mountain Freeway from Buckeye as you transition to the westbound I-10. Coming out of TPC in Scottsdale, not too bad. Most of the folks have filed out of the golf course. We do have some slowing southbound on the 101 from Cactus all the way down to the 202, and a little bit of slowing on the Price Freeway as you transition to the eastbound US 60. Crashes 51st Avenue and Bell Road, also working a crash at Alma School and Germain. Traffic is brought to you by the Beatitudes Campus. Home is where the heart is at the Beatitudes Campus. Join us for a special Valentine's Day open house February 14th from 10 a.m. till noon. John Roller, KTAR News.
Hey, it's Mike Broomhead. Trevec, they don't only remodel, they also do great work in roofing. Trustworthy, reliable people that do excellent work, whether it's residential or commercial. If you've got a tile roof, that tile is not waterproof. You've got an underlayment. In about 17 years, that starts to wear away. Then you get leaks, and then you find out with brown patches on your ceilings. Don't let that happen. Be proactive. You can plan for replacing instead of having to call to get leaks repaired. It's a great way to save you a lot of money. Also, foam roofs. It's the only roof system that will eventually pay for itself over time through energy savings. If you've got shingles, they also will help you in roof replacement to make sure you're doing preventative maintenance. It's the best in the valley. Trevec has been doing a great job for years. Just go to Trevec.com. That's Trevek.com. Trevec.com. Trevec, together, building dreams for over 20 years right here in the valley.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now, back to the War Room. Insight and analysis about the biggest political stories in AZ and DC.
The Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports executive order, Trump signed that today. We're going to discuss it in the War Room right now. Barry Markson and Brandon Tatum joining us in here. So, I guess my question is this such a big issue that we need to be worried about? Like, is this a big thing? Yes. Have I been missing all of the
No.
Men in women's sports?
No, there really isn't. But when it is there, it's a big. It highlights it, right? So when what was the name of the swimmer guy who was
Leah Thomas?
Yeah, when Leah Thomas is 6'3" or whatever, and beating all the women swimmers, that becomes a big thing. Look, I think most people would agree. You don't want in super competitive sports in college or otherwise. You don't want at the Olympics. You don't want formerly men who are now women competing. I think we can have a discussion about that. Where this becomes an issue for me is that there are little kids who are struggling with this issue, and they want to participate. They want to be part of things. And I think we need to find a balance to deal with that. Not when somebody's gold medal is being taken away, not when your NCAA championship is being taken away, but just with young people, when they're just trying to be in a group, and they just want to be, and they're already struggling enough because whether...
I think it's hilarious you think there's any nuance in this.
There should be some nuance. But I'll tell you
something. We don't all agree on this?
It's a tough issue.
We don't all agree on this? I think everybody should agree that biological men should not be competing against women in women's sports because that's protecting women. Women have complained time and time again that this is not right. When Leah Thomas gets in the locker room and pull his genitals out in front of girls, that's a problem too. Not just him beating the brakes off of them in a sport, but also he has to be in the locker room. And that's not fair for women to be exposed to male genitalia without their consent. And some of these people, if they're dealing with mental illness, then they need the help that, they deserve help. And also they shouldn't be hurting other people in the process. And if it's so few people people shouldn't have a problem with
So
this.
Well, it's roughly 1.1, depending on the census or the latest one, 1.1 to 1.5% of the population is transgender.
But at,
in the United States.
Barry's point,
I don't think they're all playing sports either.
Barry's point was he's talking about the younger kids. And for that, I'm like, yeah, is there a way to fit them in? The problem is then you have to ask what parents are always asking, where do they change? And that's where the issue comes.
But when they're young kids, I'm less worried about that. But I understand what you're saying.
I think they should. What do you mean young? Like what age? Because I think it's abuse.
9.
It's abuse if kids are transitioning at 7 and 8 years old.
They're not. I'm not talking about any kind. I don't disagree with you. I'm not talking about a physical change. I'm just saying there are now
struggling with their identity.
There are 7-year-old boys who think they're girls and they want to play on the girls' team. And you just we have to figure something out.
Yeah, and parents should tell them, or at least help them understand that they are actually boys. And then later on, they can have a discussion when they're adults and they can understand what's really going on. I don't think it's fair to subjugate young people to that type of treatment. I think most kids, if you look at the statistical data, most kids grow out of it. They grow out of it. It's a phase. And now we're seeing the trend more than ever. Now, I'll tell you to this point. This is how we know it's an issue. How many trans men, that mean women turning into men, are playing in sports? Because there's no advantage to doing that. It's only men turning into women.
Hey, I think we should get rid of the LPGA and the WNBA. Make it all fair. Everybody play.
Then they'll call you misogynist.
Nay, if you're good enough to play basketball, play basketball.
I'll tell you this. My wife tells me all the time that she doesn't want to see my genitalia without consent, too. So I understand what you're saying.
Hey, and I play from the women's tees just because I'm sick and tired of not being able to clear them. You know,
hey, I feel you.
I'm playing from the tips. Is there any advantage to that? No.
That is the War Room. Brandon Tatum, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Likewise.
Hey, Barry Markson, always good to have you in the War Room.
Happy to be here.
All right.
Hey, when it comes to your health, there are 2 big birthdays you need to circle on the calendar. We're going to talk about that after a check of the headlines from Becky Lynn. It's coming up next. We're Outspoken on KTAR.
Okay, let's talk about getting off the fence and buying a home as soon as you possibly can here in the Valley. And you say, okay, well, that's not the easiest thing to do. Well, let's talk about why you should be doing it. If you want to buy a house, if you've always dreamed of owning a home, maybe your family is growing, you need a bigger place, or you got to get out of the apartment, or you're renting somebody else's house and basically paying their mortgage. Here's why you should get off the fence, buy a home. Call the One Mortgage team. They'll tell you Valley home prices are going to go